Isaiah Thomas joined the Max Kellerman Show on ESPN Radio and delivered this hot take on the greatest of all time debate. Listen up, y'all.
I'm fortunate enough to have lived in an era where I've gotten to see the greatest basketball players ever play the game and have competed against some of them. So this is, I'm just happy to be in this era where we've had a chance to view when LeBron James is all said and done. I don't even think there'll be a doubt in terms of who the greatest player to ever play our sport was. He will be it.
Hell no. I do not agree with Isaiah Thomas. And before I go a little bit further, I'd like to remind everybody how close Isaiah Thomas and I are. We've known each other for nearly 30 years. I love the guy personally, and we don't disagree on much. This is one argument that Isaiah Thomas and I have been disagreeing about for the better part of a decade. It's not new. Isaiah saying what he said to Max Kellerman yesterday, I appreciate the fact that he revealed that, but he and I have been arguing about that for 12 years, because even 12 years ago he was saying this kind of stuff about LeBron James. I thought it was utterly ridiculous then. I think it's ridiculous now. And that's not to take anything away. I'm almost uncomfortable talking about this because I don't want to take anything away from the greatness of LeBron, or the fact that he's about to capture his 4th ring, or the fact that he's worthy of being on the Mount Rushmore of basketball, because that's how phenomenal I think LeBron James is. But he ain't MJ, okay? And we can look at the numbers all we want to. I can look at the 6 rings compared to 3, probably 4 by tomorrow night that Michael Jordan will have over LeBron James. I could look at the 10 scoring titles of Michael Jordan compared to the 1 for LeBron James. I can look at the Defensive Player of the Year that Michael Jordan has won compared to none that LeBron has ever won, or the fact that Michael Jordan was a 9-time All-Defensive Player in the NBA, since we're not just talking about scoring and we're not just talking about offense. In the end, my point is statistics alone don't tell a story. And what I find most egregious, most blasphemous about Isaiah Thomas's statement is that he ignores the era he was playing in, as far as I'm concerned. It was very physical. It was very volatile. It was an era made for the Kendrick Perkins of the world, for crying out loud. I'm talking about banging bodies, Jordan rules, people getting assaulted and only getting caught for a foul, having a foul called against the person that assaulted them, as opposed to today where you can get ejected for having bad breath. And LeBron James at 6'9", 260 pounds, is playing in the softest era we have ever seen in NBA basketball. The fact that Isaiah Thomas ignores that is beyond me. Floor is y'all's.
You forgot that LeBron James and I came in 2003. The league wasn't soft then. They still had Gary Payton. They still had Shaquille O'Neal. They still had Rasheed Wallace, Ben Wallace. They still had some rough riders. The league wasn't what it was back then, what it is today. So that's the first thing. Second thing, let's talk about LeBron James' story. Forget all the stats that I could throw out there that may take up majority of the show. Forget this segment. I'm not going to even address that. I'm going to address the word pressure. No athlete in the history, not just in basketball, but in history of sports, have had the pressure that LeBron James has had since the age of 16. I keep telling people that when he was in high school, when they labeled him the chosen one, people in the NBA, they got evidence, were waiting and hating on this man, saying he's not going to do this in the league. And he did it in the league. When you talk about pressure, he left Cleveland and went to South Beach, where it was pressure on them to win championships, and he delivered. Then he returned back to Cleveland, where an owner called him a Benedict Arnold. And he went back to the state of Ohio, his hometown, and delivered a championship in great fashion. One of the best championships in NBA history. That's pressure. And what he do? He joined one of the most historical franchises in NBA history. And here we are today in 2020, talking about LeBron James about to win his 4th NBA championship with the Los Angeles Lakers. Pressure is the word today, and no other player has had or overachieved like LeBron James did over his NBA career.
First of all, a couple of things. Number one, at the age of 38, 39, after a 3-year hiatus, Jordan averaged over 20. But we ain't going to bring up his career with the Washington Wizards because that's really irrelevant. It's really about the first 13 years of his career as a Chicago Bull. Kendrick Perkins, I understand you came into the league in 2003. I'm not talking about individual players being soft. I'm talking about the league and the rules that were implemented that made the game soft. I would never sit up there and call any player soft or anything like that. I wouldn't call you nor anybody else. Y'all on an elite level. Y'all are the best players in the world. I would never disrespect players like that. I'm talking about the game itself, the way it was called, the way dudes were restricted. It doesn't even compare to what existed in the 90s and the 80s. Don't even get me started with that. He's averaged more career points. The shooting percentage is about the same. He was an elite defender. And here's the biggest thing. LeBron is universally respected. Respected. Jordan was universally feared. He scared the living hell out of people. And who did he beat along the way? Beat Magic the first go round. You know how you feel about Magic, KP. He beat Magic the first go round. Beat Drexler the second go round. Beat Barkley the third go round. Beat Gary Payton and Karl Malone. I'm sorry, Gary Payton and Sean Kemp before he became Sean Clump. Beat Stockton and Malone twice. And oh, by the way, prevented Reggie Miller and Patrick Ewing and those boys from winning championship. Michael Jordan has ruined dudes' chances to even get to the finals, for crying out loud. That's how great Michael Jordan was.
Shaq
Don't even get me started.
60-win team. Swept them.
이번에 준비한 영상 시청해주셔서 정말 감사하고 앞으로 더 흥미롭고 유익한 NBA 내용으로 돌아오겠습니다. 영상 재밌게 보셨다면 구독과 좋아요 부탁드리겠습니다. 감사합니다.